More than 94% of WSU employees are vaccinated against COVID-19. See how those numbers compare with the rest of Whitman County.
And starting today, Governor Inslee has required that people ages 12 and up must be vaccinated or have tested negative to attend outdoor events. Hear the full story next on Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Sydney Gardner.
And I'm Doyle D'Angelo. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
More than 94% of Washington State University employees are vaccinated against COVID-19. According to a press release from the university, most full-time and part-time employees have complied with the state vaccine mandate. Of those who are not fully vaccinated, 3% have received a religious exemption, 1% have received a medical exemption, and the remaining 2% have initiated the vaccine process and are on leave until they are fully vaccinated, their vaccination status is still being verified, or they are awaiting exemption request determinations. Formal employment separation proceedings have been initiated with 23 employees.
According to OurWorldInData.org, Washington State is reporting over 5.3 million of its citizens are partially vaccinated, which accounts to about 70.5% of the population. 4.8 million are completely vaccinated, which accounts to about 64% of the population. Now, on the other hand, just under 50% of Whitman County citizens have received one dose, while 42% are completely immunized. This puts Whitman County at 22nd out of 39 counties in Washington State.
Governor Jay Inslee has announced that starting November 15th, large events in Washington State will require to verify that all attendees 12 years and older are either fully vaccinated or have tested negative for COVID within the last 72 hours. This announcement came last Thursday and went into effect today.
Idaho legislature is back in session today with a large list of bills to consider relating to COVID-19 vaccine mandates. The bills include a defense fund for private businesses to fight federal mandates, a bill banning mask mandates, and a bill for exemptions to the vaccine and mask requirements. The session was called in response to sweeping vaccine requirements from the Biden administration.
With this week being the last before Thanksgiving break, for WSU students, the Washington State Patrol will be conducting emphasis patrols on violations that could cause collisions on State Route 26 in Whitman, Adams, and Grant County. These emphasis patrols will happen during peak travel days, which is this Thursday and Friday.
The death toll from the Astroworld Festival in Houston, Texas has increased to 10. As 9-year-old Ezra Blunt died Sunday at Texas Children's Hospital. Ezra's father describes a situation where a major crowd surge left him and his son crushed to unconsciousness and serious injury. Ezra was crushed and trampled on while his father was unconscious, which is the cause of death. The concert brought about 13 hospitalizations and around 300 people were treated for injuries at the festival site. The Blunt family is seeking $1 million in damages against Scott and Live Nation.
The Pullman Police Department is asking for public help in identifying the subject in a recent tweet. The subject was recently involved in a theft from Dismore's IGA. If you or anyone you know has any information, please contact Officer Guile at the number on your screen.
The Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport will be a topic of discussion in the coming meetings for elected leaders of Pullman and Moscow. The Pullman City Council will hear a presentation on the airport's new terminal on Tuesday. The terminal is to be completed by early 2024. Earlier this week, the Moscow City Council declared its support and is going to pay as much as $2 million to help fund the terminal. It looks like there will be parking limitations on some of the breaks coming up. Student reporter Jackson Scarum is down on College Hill with more information.
Yeah.
All right. Pullman PD has been talking about College Hill parking and decided to restrict parking during fall, winter, and spring break. They will be limiting who is allowed to park on the roads to make road maintenance easier during poor weather conditions. Pullman PD said that, quote, "It is difficult for Pullman maintenance and operations staff to remove snow, ice, and debris when cars are parked on the narrow roads. This can be hazardous and make it more difficult for drivers and emergency vehicles to get through." Drivers that decide to park between 2 to 9 a.m. on the main parts of the College Hill during the breaks will be given a ticket. Fall break is November 22nd through the 26th. Winter break is on December 20th through January 7th, and spring break is on March 14th through 18th. WSU Transportation Services will provide alternative parking in the signed portion of the Blue 1 parking lot across from the South Fairway playfield. Students that plan on parking there will need to send their name, WSU ID number, personal contact info, license plate number, state, and the make and color of the vehicle to transportation@wsu.edu. Be careful out there traveling back home over upcoming breaks, and if you plan to stay in Pullman, look out for unwanted parking tickets.
Pregnant women and marijuana. A new WSU study says breastfeeding and pregnant individuals are using cannabis more than ever before. Hear how doctors versus retail marijuana workers feel about the study.
And today we have a high wind advisory after the break. We're going to find out how strong those winds are going to get. Stay with us.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Cannabis use among pregnant women is up. According to a study led by Vice Chancellor for Research at WSU Health Sciences, Celeste Barbos-Likert, past months' marijuana use has nearly doubled to 7%, and daily or near daily use tripling to 3.4% from 2002 to 2017. The study interviewed 10 healthcare professionals and 10 retail marijuana workers known as bud tenders in Washington state about their opinions and perceptions on prenatal cannabis use. Both agreed that more education is needed on the topic. However, healthcare workers said that they have negative opinions on the effects, while bud tenders have a much more positive view, perceiving marijuana as a natural substance.
The city of Pullman is encouraging residents to utilize off-street parking and to get their leaves out for residential leaf collection. Residential leaf collection will continue today and tomorrow on Military Hill. Then the leaf collection will go on until Thanksgiving Eve, hitting Sunnyside and College Hill for 3 days each. All right, on my way back from Spokane last night, my little coupe was shaking quite a bit from the wind. Safe to say the gusts have been pretty intense lately. Let's see if that'll continue as we go to our weatherman, Isaiah Sharp.
Yeah, Doyle, if you had any plans of flying kites later tonight, I would cancel those. It's going to be a gusty one. Let's look at today's forecast. It is going to be a high of 63 and a low of 29, but those winds at 37 miles per hour right now may jump up to potentially 55 miles per hour later tonight. Let's look at tomorrow. It's going to be a high of 41 and a low of 22, and those winds are going to continue pretty high. It's going to be about 32 miles per hour, so do be careful out on those roads. Let's take a look at the state map. Up in Spokane, very similar. They're dealing with some rain, a high of 63 and a low of 30. In Tri-Cities, a high of 67 and a low of 40. In Yakima, a high of 61 and a low of 34. Pretty similar all across the state. Over here on the west side, it is raining. Over in Seattle, a high of 58 and a low of 41. And here in Olympia, we were dealing with that wind as well, a high of 58 and a low of 40. Let's look at the 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, of course, going to be a beautiful sunny one, and the wind is going to continue, a high of 41 and a low of 22. On Wednesday, it is going to be cloudy, a high of 39 and a low of 29. As those temperatures start to dip down on Thursday, it is going to be a potential chance of snow, a high of 42 and a low of 31. On Friday, the rain comes, high of 43 and a low of 29, and partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 42 and a low of 38. That is your weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
With WSU's sad loss against Oregon, we'll hear Coach Dickert's post-game thoughts and what's happening with the last home game of the season.
And hear how the WSU soccer team did in their NCAA tournament and who they're going to play next. Stay with us.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, the boss's boss. If 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, that means it could be you, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work.
Thanks.
You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker,
On your left.
your cat jogger. Or you, your co-pilot, your co-pilot's co-pilot. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand.
Good evening, and I'm Dakota Cruz with your sports for today. Well, the Cougs fell to the Ducks this weekend, 38-24. Here's head coach Jake Dickert's thoughts after the game.
You know, I'm proud of their effort. You know, that's a good football team. I give credit to Oregon. They're tough, physical, and they didn't make mistakes. So we kept punching, we kept swinging, and I think we played 60 minutes of football. We just ended up coming up short.
The Cougs were able to tie the game up 14 at halftime, but the Ducks' offense proved to be too much for the Cougs. WSU hosts Arizona this Friday at 6 p.m. in their last home game of the regular season. And both the WSU men's and women's basketball squads continued their winning ways on Friday. The men took down Seattle U 79-61 for their 15th straight non-conference victory. Tyrell Roberts led the way with 17 points, shooting 50% from behind the arc. The men host USCB tonight at 8. The women defeated Northern Arizona University 62-54 behind Charlize Ledger-Walker's 22-point performance, her second of the season. And the Lady Cougs take on Idaho this Sunday at 2 p.m. Continuing on with sports, WSU soccer is one step closer to claiming the College Cup as they defeated Montana 3-0 on Friday in advance to the next round of the NCAA tournament. It took a while for the Cougs to get going, but when they did, there was no stopping the Cougs' high-powered offense. Maureen Wielden, Sydney Pulver, and Grayson Lynch each scored a goal. The Cougs dominated the night with a 20-2 two-shot advantage and a 12-0 corner advantage. The Cougs take on Tennessee this Friday at 11 a.m. in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
And the beloved kids show Sesame Street is introducing a new character to celebrate Asian and Pacific Islander identities.
Find out when this character will be introduced next when we come back.
Sesame Street is making history with their debut of the first Asian American Muppet. Ji Young, the newest addition to Sesame Street, is Korean American.
That's pretty cool to hear. Her name means smart or wise and young.
Ah, so cool. Well, thanks for watching.
Have a good night.